Time to head to the gym with Steven in the McLaren 570S. Your garage has become very colorful. Alex's yellow Aston. Unplug the trickle charger. Is that a Mercedes trickle charger?
It is. It works. It's all C-Tech.
McLaren doors are always the best. Doors that go up are better. Watch out for the Aston Martin Vantage stock wheels and tires. It's always a difficult thing to try to elegantly get into the 570S or any McLaren. It's more like a controlled fall. Ready?
Yep.
All the fun McLaren sounds. So they put the backup camera in your main cluster right here. It's actually very convenient. Doesn't pop up on the screen here in the middle. This is a cool spec. I like the orange on the inside. All over there matching the McLaren orange exterior 570S coupe. You had a Spider.
I did.
Yeah, this is Steven's second McLaren 570S. Most people aspire to own one McLaren. You've had two.
Last video we made, you said that you'll see me back with McLaren. This wasn't the one I was expecting.
That's true, yeah. You didn't love the GT3 and you're back in the 570S. One thing though, this is all leather on the inside. This doesn't have the Alcantara.
Nope, not like the
Which
last time.
I prefer the suede.
No, I do too. But I didn't have a choice.
There's something special about a carbon tub supercar. It just gives it a more exotic feel because you're just sitting in this little carbon tub, like a bathtub of carbon fiber, right? The proportions and obviously McLaren doors. It does make it slightly more challenging to get into, but they've made it so much better now. Like the tub cuts out further here, so when you're stepping in, it's easier to enter. The earlier Super Series cars, the 12C and 650S, definitely was more challenging. BMW i8 was actually really challenging because the sill was so wide. So they've made it a bit more livable. 720S is pretty good too.
These are sports series.
Mm-hmm. But the 12C and the 650S was Super Series.
Ah.
Yeah, so Sports Series is now, Artura technically is a Sports Series. That technically replaced this thing. It's
right.
the baby McLaren. Even though technically I think this is slightly larger dimension-wise.
Then the 540C.
Than the 540 is the same thing.
Wait, is it?
540 is just this, slightly detuned. We didn't get that here. There were actually a bunch of variants of this. There's a 570S, 540C, and then there was a 570 GT, which is just this with more leather and like more GT-ish. That one didn't make sense to me. I was like, just buy the 570S, right?
It's all the same.
3.8 twin turbo V8. Which is obviously more than sufficient, but in terms of the horsepower war, my Z06 spanks your 570.
It does, but this is also 3,200 pounds.
That's true. My Z06 is a little tubbier. Americans a little tubbier. This is why we're going to the gym. We're trying not to be like the Z06. We're trying to be more like the British 570S. I always loved the little race car helmet on the climate control dude. It had heated seats.
And the fact that it's got auto low, I don't think other manufacturers have a setting that just auto and an auto low. It's very polite.
Oh, it's like in a Rolls Royce. Would you like medium air? Soft, medium, hard? I'll take some hard air. Another fun thing with McLarens is the paddles are on a rocker system. So you can obviously pull the left paddle for a downshift, but I can also push the right paddle for a downshift. So you can play around on the paddle shifters with one hand.
It's perfect when you're recording.
Yes. Although we're hands-free right now, proper
Right.
POV driving. Switchgear feels very nice. It's also a very big contrast in the McLarens from the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris, because the steering wheel is just a steering wheel. There's nothing, it's got the paddles on there, right? And a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, you've got buttons and dials and little fiddly bits and stuff. Like, look at the latest Ferrari steering wheel. It's got more touchscreens than an Apple store, right? This is all these little things. They are backtracking. I think they realized it because they brought back the push-button start for the newer Ferraris, and the you can retrofit that steering wheel. They launched it with the Amalfi. McLaren has kind of stuck to this.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's simple.
It is simple, but it still feels nice. Love the little Bowers and Wilkins tweeter.
I always thought those things might fall off after a while.
It looks like a microphone that somebody just left there from like KTV or something.
Yeah.
Get some booster noises.
Oh, they sound great.
Yeah, after watching you drive this thing around this week while I'm visiting, I'm like, I kind of want to... I've always wanted a McLaren. It's always been one of my favorite brands, dream cars, and I just haven't been able to buy one.
People are just scared of them.
But when you drive them, I have a lot of friends who've driven them and owned them, and they've been fine.
You have to drive them.
You have to drive them. They cannot sit.
Religiously charge them as soon as they get home and just drive them.
I was just, we were hanging out with Jordan, low baller GTR. We took his P1 out, and he's like, it's been fine. Drive it, take care of it. Although he has had to do the accumulators, which cost as much as this car does.
But the accumulators are a known issue.
Yes.
All the Hyper series.
And the battery is expensive. Never mind. P1 that's a different strategy.
That's just maintenance on that car.
That's just, it's going to. But you get your money's worth because those things are only going up in price.
Right.
Whereas these are starting to get to a really, really appealing price point, don't you think? Like,
they're very
mid 100s, like 150.
Lower than that because the Arturos are in the high 100s.
Really? Okay. You always like talking wholesale. Retail. Really?
My friend just bought an Arturo for high 100s, and my other friend bought a MSO Spider with half the miles on this car for
the Napier green one.
Yeah, 160.
Well, I'd buy one of these for 150.
Well, the coupes are much cheaper, and this is a 19. So if you look for a 17, these are in the low hundreds. Of course, there's some flaws like.
Oh yeah, your pillars.
Alex's Aston does the same thing.
Bubbling up. It's just probably the heat, especially Arizona, or this was from Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun is probably just baking the adhesive away.
Would you like active, sir?
Yeah, let's turn on. I think we're warmed up a little bit. Active panel. We're in sport for handling a powertrain. I think I'm just living in a weird spoiled world where this feels like
it's not that fast.
I didn't floor, but it's like contain quick. My brain has been re-scrambled from the 765 LT, Ferrari Pistas, and more recently, the Corvette ZR1. After you spend some time with cars like that, everything else feels like walking pace, which is just such a weird thing, right?
Everything is fast.
When a 570S McLaren is just like, all right. But again, let's caveat that with the fact that I don't live in reality. I fully acknowledge that. But it's also a very livable, daily drivable supercar. Not quite as much as an R8. I think an R8 is still easier to drive. I felt like my R8 was a A5 with a V10, right?
It's practical.
It is so civilized and usable. This still has a little bit more of the quirks, like hear a little bit of buzzing, vibration. It is still a McLaren, but then that brings a little bit more of the excitement and passion. It almost as if car enthusiasts, we like cars when we say they're like emotional. It means they have some flaws. It gives them character, right? You don't want clinical perfection all the time.
Well, I tried that.
You tried that with what, GT3? You didn't love your GT3, which is weird. Because
I loved it in a sense, but it just wasn't, it didn't invoke the raw emotions.
It wasn't the fizz that you wanted. Makes a pretty good sound. It actually is a little bit higher pitch to the V8 sound than I think the 12C and 650 did. This one does have an exhaust.
It does.
It does have. I was driving behind you yesterday. I was like, wait, that doesn't look stock because I saw like the titanium, like colored exhaust tips or
with no heat shields.
Yeah.
No, it is not stock. But that's the only thing that's been done to the car.
I mean, it's still a supercar, right? It is going to be fast. Quick little jaunt to the speed limit on our way to the gym for our workout session today.
Now, if you don't short shift it, maybe you'll feel more than the max horsepower on top. It actually dies a little more up the top. I really thought it'd feel faster from the passenger side, but it doesn't.
Okay, yeah, but we also, like you said, the point, we've got two dudes in the car, so we're adding at least 450 pounds.
Just about.
This is why we're going to the gym, Steven. This is why we're going to the gym.
If Alex was driving this, it'd be a lot faster.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, G-Wagon, no. Bad G-Wagon. It's not as smooth and comfortable as the Super Series cars with a fancy hydraulic suspension, because this is more conventional, but then it's also more simple, right? It's a lower price point, and from an ownership perspective, that's going to be a lot more friendly. Running costs on these are so much lower than the 12C 650S first gen, and obviously a 720. Like, I remember my friend told me, because he had a 570, he went from a 12C to a 570, and like the same part, it was like some plastic under tray thing. On the 12C, it was like some sort of crazy composite, and it was like $2,500.
Right.
On the 570, it was $1,000. Same general component. So they took some of the learnings and just made this a more friendly to own and live with kind of car they actually want to drive and use. Just an illustration of that. Service costs are supposed to be lower, all of that. Right there. To Lifetime. This is like peak Scottsdale activities right now. The middle of the day.
Range Rover, G-Wagons.
Middle of the day on a Thursday. Two dudes.
Dude, you see the best cars here at this time. The best cars.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's great car spotting.
Does anybody work in Scottsdale?
No.
Speaking of cool cars at the gym, take a look at this Rolls-Royce Spectre. These things are enormous. Is that a white on white? No, that's like a really light blue interior. Wow. Spectre, back into McLaren we go. Key fob is simple. Front trunk, unlock, lock. Go ahead, unlock. Lights turn on. Little orange rocket ship. It's got the gray painted accents there. You really can't access the engine. You can see it through the mesh grills that you see the McLaren, but then this is all that pops open, right? It's not like you can open the entire rear compartment on these things. You get the two flying buttresses. Oh, that Porsche sounds good. There's a button right here. Press that. Door releases up. You can see the tub kind of cuts away a little bit right here. Makes it just slightly easier, but you still have a decently wide sill because the door is right here. You kind of got to maneuver yourself in. But look at all these orange accents. The full leather seats, I like it when it's suede. They seem to age and wear a little bit better than the leather. Sometimes the leather can get a little wrinkly, especially on the seats here, but you get the orange accenting, McLaren logo embossed there, some nice stitching, nice carbon fiber, but I really like these orange accents all across the door. Also, oh, that's actually it's a pretty deep storage bin on the door. That's kind of cool. You need to have a little cover because the doors go up, right? So if you didn't, everything would just fall out of that thing. Key not found within vehicle. It's right here. Recognition of the key. Can sometimes be a challenge with McLarens.
If you downshift quickly, it may pop.
It will? Once it gets warmer?
Well, if you do like a second to fifth gear pull and then you immediately downshift 3 gears, it will pop.
If I do a second to fifth gear pull right now, I will be in a Kia's bumper. Launch mode active, awaiting full throttle. I will give you full throttle.
It is such a pain to turn ESC off in this car. You hold
really?
it for a few seconds and they'll ask you, are you sure? And then you have to hit it again after you already turned off the TC. This thing really doesn't want
are you really, really sure? Double, triple, quintuple check.
You'll see the boosting on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and then it will be like, boost ready, and then you can go. Just don't send it into that RV.
No, we'd lose that fight too.
Yeah, we would. They don't look bad. They're just terrible.
We need the 63.
Yeah. They are
Please,
63.
Mercedes. No, it's 53. Boost building. Boost ready.
Do you hear the boom?
Yeah. That was a pretty brutal second gear shift.
Yeah.
It kicked. Nice, 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 nice. This is a fun supercar.
It is.
Man, I would be, between this or an R8 is probably what I'd want to buy for like 150 grand for a supercar you can just drive and enjoy.
Have both?
You've owned both. I've only owned R8s. What would you go? I mean, you have this right now.
I'll take this and a Huracan.
You can't, that's not a choice.
What? But it's the same.
One or the other.
Oh, you have to.
You have to pick one or the other. You're buying an R8 or you're buying a 570S. Gen 2, V10, V10 Plus probably for this kind of money.
Honestly, for the sake of appreciation and depreciation, probably the R8.
You would still go back to the R8.
I just financially it makes sense.
Yeah,
they're going up.
Are they going up?
Yeah, R8s
I know
have
mine
gone
went
way
up a bit.
They've gone way up. The V10 Pluses, the non-Gen 3s, the Gen 2s.
Gen 2.5.
The Gen 2s and a halves are over 200 again.
Ah, balls. Well, death of the V10, we thought that might happen. We have no idea if there's going to be another R8. But you could also argue McLaren is not making a V8 baby supercar anymore.
They're not.
The Artura's V6 hybrid. You can still get the V8 though with a 720S or 750S. So
I mean, it's reflected that people don't like the Arturas as much as this. I mean, this is in the mid-low hundreds, the Artura's in the mid-high hundreds.
yeah. Well, I am spending a couple days with an Artura Spider back home shortly. We finished our workout. Hope you guys enjoyed this little POV vlog as we went for a fun little drive. This car is absolutely very, very fun to drive. We're gonna grab some food, and I have to get to the airport to fly back home. Thanks, Steven.
Of course.
Congrats on your not first but second McLaren 570S.
Thanks.
McLaren collector Steven Wren is a write-off.
A downgrade.
Comment below, what would you rather buy if you're spending around 150 grand for a couple year used supercar? Would you get one of these? Doors that go up are definitely better. It is fun. It looks exotic. And it makes fun turbo noises.
Definitely put an exhaust on this car.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Bye.